What is up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Barbecue. Just wanted to get a little creative with some ribs today. So I was at my Asian market, found this sweet and sour Chinese spare rib package. I figured we'd kind of hook up some ribs using this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of these packets to coat the ribs, and then I will make the sauce. As far as the sauce goes, we're just basically going to use a half cup of water to one of these packs, and that's going to make our sauce. And I'm going to use it pretty much like a barbecue sauce. I have a bunch of these scraps left over. These were spare ribs to begin with. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with that, but I will do something with that. It may not be part of this video. Anyway, really looking forward to seeing how these turn out. You know, I do get a little bored of just your typical barbecue ribs, so we'll see how this works out. I will be cooking this on my 26-inch Weber kettle grill, and I will be using Kingsford charcoal and hickory wood chunks. Anyway, let's get down and see what this looks like. I'm not expecting this to put really good color on these ribs, but this is going to be all about the flavor and not necessarily the appearance. Let's hook it up. And you know what? I am going to go over this with some pepper as well. This almost smells like a Jello mix almost. Hopefully it tastes better than Jello mix. Alright, got that. I have removed the membrane from the ribs. Let's get these edges as well. Okay, that looks seasoned up to me. I'm going to go over this with some pepper, and I'm going to bring the camera in close just so you can kind of see what these ribs look like. They look pretty neutral to me right now. No color, either good or bad. So guys, here's what our ribs look like right here. And I think I'll turn it over so you can get a better look at it. But these packages that are right over here, if you can go to if you have an Asian market in your area, typically those are going to be somewhere between 50 and 79 cents per pack. And if you don't live near an area that sells this, I'm going to leave a link in the description where you can buy it. This stuff is good. I really like the char siu, and I just did a video using their Chinese lemon chicken sauce, and I made some wings out of those, and those were awesome too. So there we go. Nice layer of pepper on there. I'm not going to worry about the edges on this. I'm going to go fire up the Weber, and I'll meet you outside. Getting these ribs on our grill. I'm also going to be throwing on some pork tenderloin that I had marinating in a char siu marinade. I'm going to be cooking this a little bit higher. I'm going to be cooking this around that 315 area. So let's go ahead and get these on. So there's the ribs, and then our pork. Now I'm going to cook this pork. I'm going to, you know, that's not really part of this video, but I am going to throw a meat probe in here, and we're going to cook the pork until we get to about 150 degrees. Then we'll go ahead and pull that off. As far as our ribs go, we're probably going to cook those for about 3 hours, or until they start getting some bend on them. And then depending on how they look and feel, we may go a little bit longer, but I will be making up some of that sauce to apply to these ribs as well. So we're 2.5 hours in on this cook, and looks like my ribs are starting to get to the point where I may want to wrap them possibly. I'm not sure if I'm going to be wrapping them or not, but I'll know which direction I'm going to go here in a little bit. This is one of those cooks we're kind of playing by ear. My char siu pork just hit 140 degrees. Like I said, on this, I'm going to take it to about 150 degrees on this. Maybe a little bit more than I typically would, but not too high as far as that temperature goes. I'm going to shut this back down. We're going to continue cooking in that low 300 range. We'll check back in another hour, hour and a half. So guys, we're about 3.5 hours in on this. I am going to wrap these ribs. I'm not going to put any liquid in it or anything like that. I'm just wrapping them up just to speed the process up just a little bit. And I already pulled that other pork off that we had in here. That did end up having some really nice color. So I'm going to go ahead and let that cook for about another hour and a half, 2 hours. Like I said, I'm going for more of a well done rib on this. So guys, we are about 4.5 hours in on this. I opened up the foil and they look pretty good. I have some pullback going on with these bones, so I'm happy with that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour this sauce right over the ribs. And this is a little bit thinner than a regular barbecue sauce. Now I don't want it to be, this is just to add flavor. I don't want a thick sauce on this, so that's what we're doing. Now I'm going to lift it up. So we're going to lift our ribs up, let that sauce get under there. So I'm also going to have some of that sauce cooking into the bottom of these ribs as well. Keep in mind that I want these ribs to be cooked a little bit more than what a traditional competition barbecue would be. I want this to be more on the lines of, not necessarily a fall off the bone, but cooked a little bit more. So I'm going to wrap them up. And I'm going to let them cook for about another hour or so. Then I'm going to drain this liquid off and heat it up a little bit more, glaze it back on these ribs and put them back out here. And that should be done at that point. So we have had these ribs cooking in this sauce for about an hour. I am going to drain off this liquid, heat it up, kind of thicken it up a little bit. And you know what, I'm going to throw a little bit of honey in here as well. Once it's done getting heated up, just to thicken it up a little bit more. And at this point, I'm just going to leave the ribs on this foil, fold it down a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to let those go about another hour before we sauce them up. They're still not quite as done as I'd like. Still have a little bit of tension in it. Alright guys, so these ribs look good to me. I'm going to bring them in. We're going to just apply a little bit of sauce to them. Then I'm going to get them back out here on the grill just to kind of firm that sauce up a little bit. And we should be good to go. So now that we have our ribs cooked the way I want, I'm going to sauce them up. I'm going to throw some sauce on the back. And we're going to do some on the front. Now as far as this sauce, or excuse me, on the meat side, as far as this sauce goes, I took the liquid that I poured off the ribs earlier, added some honey, heated it up, it got thickened up, and now I'm going to throw this in the oven. I'm running out of charcoal out there, but I'm going to throw it in the oven at about 200 degrees for about 20 minutes for this sauce to set. I'm going to serve these cut up individually. So once I'm done with that, we'll taste them and see if this is a success or if it's a fail. So this is a done deal. I got them glazed up, cut up. Now it's just time to get in and see what we think. Now, it does have a nice little smoke ring. I'm not sure if that camera's going to pick that up or not. But smoke rings don't matter. It's all about this taste. So let's get in, see what's up. This right here, listen, I'm not doing these videos to teach you how to cook ribs. Most of you guys that are watching this probably can cook ribs as good or better than me. I'm just trying to inspire you to try something different. and step outside of that ordinary barbecue box. So hopefully I've done that in this video. I'd like to thank you guys for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out. You gotta give these a try.